Hi all, welcome back to Tarot Tuesday. I'm still Michael. This will be the last Tarot Tuesday, not because I'm not doing any more of these, because God knows I've got far too much in my brain to let this go. But apparently there's a lot of Tarot Tuesday, and yeah, I probably need a new title for these. So, look forward to that, but in the meantime, speaking of looking forward, this week, as the final pairing, I'm looking at the Wheel of Fortune and the World, which I look at them as a weird time and space pairing, which kind of makes, like, the Wheel of Fortune is time and season and not necessarily the same way that death is a eternal march towards something new, but more in the sense that even in the context of a life, time moves on. Similarly, with the world, it's not necessarily one's place in the world, but rather the world as it is. It's kind of, for me, a card of place in existence, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't yet. So, the funny thing about these is there's no real quote-unquote good or bad reading. Upright or reversed doesn't really mean victory or tragedy. They simply are. And it's interesting. I might have something for this. Hang on. So, in the Rider-Waite deck, which I happen to have illustrations of from one of my reserves. So on the Wheel of Fortune, it has the 4 animals in the corners representing the 4 suits as just pure gold. Whereas on the World, if I can get there without stumbling over my pages, they are realized in full color. So it's that monochrome versus color where if you're looking at the major arcana in a strict single cycle from 0 to 21, the Wheel of Fortune represents a halfway point where the lessons are learned but not mastered. It's a BA in the spiritual life, not necessarily a PhD in it. And when they are both upright, it's seasons of personal success. When they're both reversed, they are seasons of personal struggle. In the context of the low-high, it still makes sense to me to have them as a one up, one down. Because with the Wheel of Fortune upright, it's a time of personal success really is the only way I can phrase it right now. But it looks at the world reversed, which is the circumstances of personal struggle. So in this time of flourishing, look across and see what is coming as the wheel reverses. And consequently, when the wheel is reversed, it invites looking at the world upright and seeing the good that is on the horizon. They are the two that I sort of think are most in balance with each other, because they are the two that are, I suppose, to me, the most instinctively complementary. What really catches my eye about these two in particular is, as they're both culminations of their respective cycles, they are both the personal and the global. I mentioned a few weeks ago how the low majors, I sort of see them as moments of the individual, whereas the high majors are moments of universal, say. But up until this point, that's been true. It's when I get to these two, it feels like they are both. And I kind of find that fascinating, strictly from a curiosity perspective, because they are both and neither. They are simultaneously individual and universal. They are success and warning. It doesn't matter whether one comes up or the other. It doesn't matter whether that one comes up upright or reversed. The lesson is almost ultimately the same from God curse my Doctor Who brain. All I can think of is a subjective, non-linear, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey point. Yeah, that one did get away from me there too. It is also a really good way to close on this chapter. Almost. There is still one more thing that I want to share, and that is, now that I've got these pairs and I've got this theory, what does one do with it? And fortunately, that's coming up in the next episode, where I show you how to turn a 1-card major pull into a 3-card spread. Until then, I'm very grateful for your time and your patience, and your listening to me ramble on for God knows how many minutes. I'm not doing the math, and I'm not expecting you to either. Have a good day, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you when winter turns to spring.